Hey guys, Jaggerous here, and today I have another Smite Tactics deck for you, and this one is pretty silly, to be honest. But before I get into that, I want to quickly mention the Smite Tactics Cup, which is happening tomorrow, Friday, 18th of February, at 11 a.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Central European Time. And I'll have a link down below if any of you guys want to sign up. This is an open bracket tournament where you can actually win card packs and founders packs if you get through to the finals. But more importantly, I'm casting. So if you want to see me cast some Smite Tactics gameplay, then twitch.tv/Smite Tactics Realm is where you want to be tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central European. But yeah, and if you're interested in competing, then feel free to sign up. But now I'm going to show you guys this deck. This is such a silly deck. It's a silly deck that I seem to have not named. This is what I'm going to call the neutral deck, because it doesn't contain any Pantheon cards, right? This deck is all neutral cards. You can choose whichever leader you like. I went with Zeus because I think that his card durability is probably going to be the most useful in this deck. I'm not convinced that this deck is in any way competitive, but it was an idea I've been playing around with and thinking about a lot recently, and I think it's just, you know, kind of fun to play. So this is the neutral deck. We've got 2 blinks, which we can use to reposition units on the board or counter taunts, for example. You'll have seen me use them in other decks. We've got 2 fire imps, which has charge. So this is kind of like Sunder. Sunder, you deal 2 damage to a non-leader enemy. Fire imp, you can play down and then move it into position and deal 2 damage. So they're kind of both good for clear. We've got 1 Fist of the Gods, which you can use to stun an enemy should you, end up, I don't know, being like blink chained by, banished chained by Freya, for example. That's a good option there. And just buy yourself a little bit more space. We've got 1 charge. We've got 2 Sentry Wards. Should we try and, find some Pantheon cards to play? I feel like this doesn't count. This counts as a neutral card because it's a neutral card. But maybe it'll pull you something good. We've got 2 Steropes, which is a 2/4. And this is just because the minion selection in, neutral is not great, so having stuff with high health is kind of useful. We've got actually 2 Kangs. Let's run 1 Kang and 1 Bull Demon King. Let's make it a bit more exciting. So we've got the 1 Taunt card, should we want to get more Taunt than the 2 Chaofengs that we have. We've got a Bull Demon King, which has Cleave. We've got a Kang, which is a 5/4. This is just to give us some units to put on the board. We've got 2 Furies, and we've got a Fire Giant. And usually I don't run Fire Giant because it's susceptible to Minion Recruiter from Egyptian, but in a Minion deck, what is a Minion deck without Fire Giant, you guys? But I'm going to jump into a game and we're going to see how badly this turns out, I guess is what we'll say.
Today I fight not for Olympus, but for myself,
Okay, so it looks like we've gone into a Zeus matchup. We're going to mulligan the Kang and we're going to hold on to the Blink and the Sunder. And we'll kind of see how this goes. We've got a nice starting hand, in all honesty. We've got a little bit of everything to get us set up. We can basically just use our leader ability, draw a card, and we'll then end our turn. Because we're in an okay position here. We can get Steropes, for example, up on the next turn, which is nice, and be in a pretty good position with units on the board. He's used his leader ability, so that's a thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to move 1 forward, and then summon Steropes behind us, and then we can trade with the Zeus, like so. And then end our turn. We've also got the Bull Demon King in hand, I think he's useful, but the hardest thing is just summoning him and not having him die on the turn that you summon him. Because by the time you get to round 5, there's a lot of clear. If we can stay near this bush, however, we should be in a pretty good position with that. Okay, so as things currently stand, they've got the Afro in the bush. We can actually clear her, though, if we just use the Fire Imp. Like so. We'll move him around the corner. And then before we attack, we use the Sunder. And then the Fire Imp. That's her now dead. We then have 2 mana left, so we can use our leader ability and pull out a Chaofeng, which is nice. And we'll start to move forward with our unit as well, and then end our turn. So this is pretty good, all things considered. We can get the Chaofeng out on the next turn and start to have control of the board with Taunt, which is nice. The only real issue we would have is if he tries to taunt us, but we do have Blink in hand, should we want to remove Taunt, which is quite good. And you can see this Zeus is like drawing cards like it's going out of fashion, which is nice. It's always good to have a big hand, but at the same time, he also needs to get himself some board presence so that we don't overwhelm him. And the double Sunder being used there, I'm very surprised. I don't think that was a worthwhile decision at all. I think he's put himself in a kind of awkward spot because of it, basically. And I think what we're going to do is move to here. and play our Chaofeng. Now, I wanted to blink our Chaofeng into the bush, but we can always blink our Chaofeng on the next turn, so that's fine. We're just trying to limit, you know, the positions that the Zeus can utilize, basically, and by standing next to him, we've managed to do that. I mean, if he's going to spawn a Taunt, he'll put it here anyway, so, you know, that's fine as well. And then we can get the Bull Demon King out on the next turn, which is pretty good. Alternatively, we could wait until, you know, turn 7 and utilize the charge, in which case what we can actually do is summon our Fury instead, which is a big play. Yeah, I think we're just going to summon our Fury up. We want to keep him taunted, so I'm not really too worried about this. I'm going to trade with the with my leader, but I'm not going to trade with the Chaofeng, because I don't want the Chaofeng to die. Like, the more health the Chaofeng has, the harder it is for Zeus to deal with it. And as things currently stand, he can't actually summon anything to taunt the Fury, because I'm in the way. He'd have to use, like, a blink or something. Which, you know, many people do run, because it helps counter taunt strategies, but all in all, I think this is fine. And on the next turn, we can Bull Demon King charge, which is quite a big play as well. Especially if he's summoning units, you know, close to each other. And we can actually also Bull Demon King blink charge, and then, like, make, you know, if he summons something here or here, we can hit both, effectively, which is pretty big. And you can see the enemy's, like, he doesn't really know what to do, and I think he left it too late to summon up units, and this is one of the things that happens often in a Zeus mirror match. You know, even if I was actually playing gods and not just this weird deck, he's kind of put himself in a bit of a predicament, basically. The other thing we can do is obviously we can blink the Fury should we want to. As things currently stand, you know, we can take out the Enyo without trouble, which we'll probably do here with the Fury. So we can move the Fury around, take out the Enyo. So let's do that. And she doesn't retaliate because of the Pardon on here. And then we can either summon the Chaofeng, but I think what we'll do is summon the Bull Demon King and give him charge. The thing is, ideally, I want to summon him here so he hits all 3. Fortunately for us, what we can do is blink me. Basically, we can reposition my Zeus, and we'll put him here. Then summon the Bull Demon King. Play the charge, and there you see the splash damage hitting the flag as well as the Zeus. We'll clear up the flag just because I want to limit his options in where he can summon things, and then we'll end our turn. And this is actually going surprisingly well, all things considered. Like, I would have thought, you know, he would have had more taunts and more gods, but maybe just bad draw, maybe, I don't know. I think this is going really well, though. Plus, we have the Kang, the Sentry Ward, and another Chaofeng in hand. So we can just re-taunt him should we want to. And the Bull Demon King, if you can get it with charge or play it and then keep it safe enough for a turn, you saw how impactful it was there. He dealt 9 damage because he was next to 3 units. And you also saw the value of Blink in a deck, which is pretty nice. Right, what's going to happen here? I realize that the Zeus is like, he's probably like, what can I do? Like, how can I turn this around? And I'm not sure there is a lot that he can do. I mean, even with like a Thanatos or something, he's going to have to clear, like, you know, Thanatos can only hit 2 health targets. All of these targets have 4 health. And that's part of the reason, you know, we don't attack with the Taunt, for example. I mean, he's got Athena out, but she's just going to die on the next turn between the Fury and me. And I think what we're going to do to begin with is just Sentry Ward. We got Thanatos. So we can play Thanatos this turn. Or we could play Kang. I think we'll play Thanatos and draw a card. So let's draw a card. Fire Imp. Fire Imp's not too bad. Although I just realized by drawing a card I didn't. Actually, you know what? It's still good. So we'll clear this. We'll play the Thanatos. We'll use Thanatos' ability on the leader, like so. And then I can't attack because I drew a card. We'll attack with the Bull Demon King, and then we'll end our turn. Like I say, keeping the Chaofeng alive is of utmost priority. And like we could do 2 damage and put her down to 7, but at the moment, like I say, Zeus is being held in place by that, so we want to leave that alive for as long as possible. And then if we can get lethal, you know, we have lethal, basically. Double Chaofeng's coming out. You can clearly tell that the Zeus is trying to buy himself some time here. That's what I can kind of tell from this play. We can clear this very easily. Yeah, I think we'll do that. So we'll clear these 2 and do AoE. We'll pop the Sentry Ward to see what we get. Scylla's nice. That's another option to spawn. And if we move Zeus out of the way here, which is what we can do, so we'll move him backwards one, we can then hit the Chaofeng. And then move the Fury in and win the game. I mean, we'll summon Scylla for fun, but let's just win the game. And I think we got very lucky, you guys. I think the fact that the Zeus couldn't get, you know, going at the start allowed us to summon enough neutral units that we were okay to win the game. But honestly, I don't think that this deck is a competitive deck. I think this is just a deck, you know, it's a fun deck. If you want to just kind of play around with the neutral gods and see, you know, if you didn't want to pick a Pantheon, this is the kind of deck that you can play. But yeah, that's kind of it, you know. There's not really anything to tell you too advanced about the deck. It's very simple and a lot of fun. And I mean, it's nice because stuff like, you know, Book of the Dead, you're not playing gods, so they have to like have the gods, otherwise they can't play Book of the Dead. But on the flip side, Minion Recruiter, it's got a lot of strong minions in it, so that can be kind of problematic. But yeah, that's about it for this week, guys. Let me know in the comments below if there's any specific decks you want to see. We might slow down the Smite Tactics content a little bit until we get another patch, just because I've always covered, like, more or less most of the common decks. Beyond that, maybe tune in tomorrow for the cast on twitch.tv/Smite Tactics Realm. And you can always sign up. There'll be a link in the description below. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!